and how he conceived that barn raising dance is incredible. And boy, did we work on that.
Well, you were a dancer beforehand. Now, Russ was a tumbler.
A tumbler, an acrobat, and everything.
Hi, it's Rob Word, and I have a special treat today because one of the best musicals of all time is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and I've got a bride and a brother. They weren't together in that film, but they're together right here. We have Miss Ruta Lee and Russ Tamblyn right here.
Yay!
Hey, well,
and it was a Western.
yes.
That's the good part, a musical Western.
I love it. I love it. I know you love Westerns, and you do too, because there's something about the people that work on them, not just the people that are in them, but there's something about a camaraderie and a family.
Well, you work very hard when you're doing a musical and when you're doing a Western, and something has to make it a little easier, and that is the love and the humor that is shared by the people in the show.
Yeah, I was telling them about that I introduced Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and I said, can you imagine somebody coming to the studio or MGM and saying, I got a great idea for a musical, and it's a great idea. It's based on the rape of the Sabine women.
This really happened. Tell you about them sobbing women who lived in the Roman days. It seems that they all went swimming while their men was off to graze. Them women was sobbing, 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 fit to be tied. Every muscle was throbbing, throbbing from that riotous ride. Since they cried and kissed and cried all over that Roman countryside. So don't forget that when you're taking a bride.
So isn't that a good idea?
Oh, yeah.
And the studio said, oh, yeah, that's terrific. So Seven Brothers, who are you gonna get for the brothers? Ballet dancers.
Raping and singing.
Well, that was Michael Kidd, of course, was our choreographer. And
Great choreographer.
he has not just magic feet, but a magic brain that can see, and how he conceived that barn raising dance is incredible. And boy, did we work on that.
Well, you were a dancer beforehand. Now, Russ was a tumbler.
A tumbler, an acrobat, and everything.
What kind of background did you have to put you in that position? Because you weren't even called Ruta Lee.
No, I was my real name, which is Ruta Kilmonis, and MGM came to me a lot later when they discovered they had a real hit on their hands that they did not expect, because the big money all went to Brigadoon, which was beautiful, but it didn't have the heart,
No.
the soul, the spirit, the gut.
Or the songs. The songs
You're
were
right.
great, too.
You're right. Well, I had really no really good formal training. I thought I was a dancer and I took class, but that's about it. And when I found myself, as I'm sure you felt the same way, Russ, found myself in the morning class, the bar that we all did, not the one you drink at, but the one you stretch your legs at.
I was at the other one.
I figured you were.
There's the real Western trick.
Yeah, yes. I would find myself saying, what in hell am I doing with some of the best dancers in America? How did I get here? Well, I always said that my mother went across the street and prayed at the church across the street from casting, and I went in and did my Lithuanian polka, and I'm not sure which got me the job,
Probably a little
or the
both.
prayers,
Yeah.
maybe both.
Yeah. Well, they made you dye your hair red. Everybody had red hair.
Yeah.
Was that an experience as you have gotten over by now?
Not yet.
I tell a story about Russ all the time, which embarrasses the hell out of it.
Well,
but I
let's
just
tell it
love
now.
And
It's true.
in those days, we didn't have jeans. The guys wore khakis. And he had on a sweatshirt, but it was a sweatshirt that had been washed so many times that it was no longer navy blue. It was now sort of a lavender. And he had this on, and he stopped in to pick up a pack of cigarettes in a little cafe on Hollywood Boulevard somewhere. And as he walked in, he noticed the ladies sitting at the counter going, and he thought to himself, oh, they're beginning to notice me. I'm beginning to become an entity, a star. And I guess they noticed me. And he paid for the cigarettes. And as he walked out, he looked at the girls and he smiled and kind of tipped his hat, which he didn't have on, but he had this flaming red hair, Lucille Ball orange in color. And as he went by, he heard one lady say to the other, "See, Mary, I told you she was a lesbian."
True story.
Oh, when he came into the studio that morning, slamming his feet down and slamming the door and saying, damn it, what's the matter? And he told the story.
Just so cute.
And I love it so. I love it.
You were paired with who in that film as your bride?
Her name was Nancy Kilgus.
And she was a professional dancer.
She was. She was.
Yeah, I think.
And she was adorable, but I don't know, she didn't ever do anything after that I'm aware of.
Well, it's not an easy business, as you guys know. I mean, and I look at both of your credits, your long list of credits, and it's exceptional. And, you know, talent rises sometimes, but a lot of luck has to be there too.
Luck is, I think, 70% of it.
Maybe 80.
Yeah. If you have talent, it's great to back up whatever comes your way.
Tell me about the premiere of the film, because you guys must have both been at the premiere of Seven Brides.
I didn't go to it.
Oh,
Sure you did. Didn't we all, or was it just the brides? We were all taken, this was like a big deal, to Houston. And we were staying at the big fancy hotel. I can't remember what it was called then. And that was quite a deal. And of course, Miss Julie, who is 6 feet tall to start with, Julie Newmar, who was one of the brides, had the most bizarre outfits all the time. I'm sure you remember some of these things, because I remember the makeup department used to say, well, Julie just flew in on her broom, let's get her in the chair, because she always had something wild on, and she would come in with white stuff on her face and her hair doing. But whatever it is that she did, she's still beautiful. And one could learn to hate that girl.
wasn't she Stupefying Jones in the Little Abner movie?
Was.
Yeah.
She was.
Wow.
And she did very well in film. She marched to her own drummer, wouldn't you say, Russ?
Yeah, I would think so.
And
She was just eccentric,
yeah,
really eccentric.
and her mother had been a showgirl, which is no surprise that Julie came out tall and gorgeous the way she did. But she used to, as we were just talking about, she used to, in the middle of a take, I mean, it could be, and by the way, we shot Seven Brides in 2 processes, widescreen
Right, yeah.
and CinemaScope.
So you had to repeat
The same, yes,
dancing.
yes,
The cameras weren't next to each other rolling at
No,
the same time.
no.
You had one setup.
right.
So what changed in the
we
sides? Did they make
squeezed together
everything
more.
come in?
That's about it. That's about it. But in the middle of one of these many takes, not stopping to think of how much it costs every time cut and don't print, she would reach into her ample bosom and pull out a piece of, I don't think we had tinfoil in those days, but wax paper, and unwrap it and eat her cheese. And it was always a stinky cheese.
That is eccentric, though.
Just a wee bit. But like God, she was lovely and wonderful and very sweet.
When was the last time you two worked together?
On that film. On
We've never worked together since. We've done retrospectives of the film with wonderful people. In fact, some of them, even Howard was still alive, and Howard Keel, of course, I'm talking about, and one of them.
And Janie?
Janie, exactly. I mean, we'd get together, and it was always wonderful at one of the big theaters somewhere. And it was so exciting, if you will remember this, Russ, to sit and watch your movie and have the audience applaud each number, just like in the theater. You know, you always felt like you needed to take a bow then and there. It was just great.
Was that based on a play, or was it all original for the film?
Oh, it was original for the film, I think. But then they turned it into a show afterwards.
Was that successful?
I don't know.
I think fairly so. It played New York for a bit, and I know it played around the country. I never saw it. I sort of had a terrible feeling about not wanting to see somebody doing my part.
Well, and you did on stage Bye Bye Birdie, the musical, and you had the Dick Van Dyke part.
Yes, and I played opposite Cheetah.
Oh, how
terrific.
And the one thing with Cheetah you couldn't mention is Rita Moreno.
Of course not.
Oh.
But Rita was fabulous in that movie.
Rita's fabulous in everything.
But that was a great part, too, in West Side.
Mm-hmm. You visited the set of the remake that Spielberg did, too, didn't you?
Yeah. Just
but they were excited.
One day we were in New York, and Steven sent a car for us, and we went to the set, and he took some pictures, and all the dancers weren't working that day, but they all came anyway. Kind of fun. We had lunch and talked, and I answered a lot of questions. And
what did you think of his interpretation of the?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I thought I would say that there were parts of it that I thought were better than our film, but there were parts in our film that were mostly that were better, I thought. But I loved Steven. He was just the sweetest, nicest man, and he introduced me from the stage. He came out on the stage to introduce the film, and he said, "We have somebody here for one of the stars from the original." So I stood up and took a bow. And
oh, good.
Yeah, you think I love movies? He loves movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it was like Tarantino, and you worked with Q as the son of the gunfighter.
Yeah. I think I had one line.
Well, that one line in the Tarantino movie puts you right there in the forefront of today's cinema. He's great to work with, though, isn't he?
Oh, he's terrific, and he had a tremendous memory of films. I guess he worked in a video store.
He did, and he watched all these Al Adamson movies that you don't want to talk about.
Right.
Oh, we all have some of those.
Well, anyway, this has been great. It's a thrill for me to have you both together.
It's a thrill to be together. I think it's wonderful. Thank you.
And my old buddy.
Yeah, you got it. We used to have coffees and Cokes and things together. We palled around. It was so sweet.
And as soon as I shut this camera off, boys, they're going to get up and dance, and you at home won't be able to see it. So I'm sorry, but thanks for joining us anyway. And thank you to Keel here, too.
Call her my darling, my dear, my precious, my pet.
Going courting, oh, it sets your senses in a whirl. Going courting, duding up to go and see a girl. Oh, it's fun to hunt and shoot a gun, or to catch a rabbit on the run. But you'll find it's twice as sporting, going courting.
bless your beautiful hide. Prepare to bend your knee and take that vow, 'cause I'm a-telling you now, you're the gal for me.
Every field wears a bonnet with some spring daisies on.
And the obvious reason is because of the season.
Each nest is twittering, they're all babysittering. Spring, spring, spring.
Yes, sirree, spring discloses that it's all one supposes it's a real bed of roses, wagging tails, rubbing noses. Each day is Mother's Day, the next is some Mother's Day when love is king.
They never did return their plunder, the victor gets all the loot. They carried 'em home by thunder to rotundas small but cute. Now let this be, because it's true, a lesson to the likes of you. Rub up like them there Romans do, or else you'll be your tent. Oh, yes, them women was sobbing, 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 fit to be tied. Every muscle was throbbing, throbbing from that riotous ride. Oh, they acted angry and annoyed,
but secretly they was overjoyed.
You might recall that when corralling your steer,